Hello, welcome back to Grow New Plants. Today we're going to do the bracing for the greenhouse. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a ridge pole the length of the greenhouse. I'm going to put 2 cross braces on my 2nd and 4th bow back here, and then I'm going to do wind braces on each of the corners. So I'm going to move back down onto the ground, and then I'll show you how I'm going to cut and measure and lay out my ridge pole, and then we'll get putting the ridge pole up. Okay, what I've done here, I've just taken this ridge pole and I wired it up in a couple spots up against my hoops. Okay, so what I'm looking for, let me move this camera here. Okay, I want this pole right here flush with the outside edge of this. So I've already done that, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to take a marker and I'm going to mark this. I'm just going to say fence, so I know which end this is. Okay, so I know this is the end that goes down that way towards the fence. Okay, from here, I'm going to come down on each pole, and where the center of my pole is, I'm going to make a mark on this. So that little mark right there, when I put this thing up on the top, I'll line this up with the center of my pole when I connect it, when I connect my cross connectors. So I'll go do that with the other ones. Okay, so on this end right here, this is the one I'm gonna have to cut my pole off. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here with the edge of this pole here, and I'm gonna make a mark, and that's gonna be my cut mark. I'll just mark that cut. So once I cut that, then I know my purlin post, or my ridge post, will be the same length as what these are here, so it should work out on the top too. And then I've got my middle marks on all the other poles where I know where to line each one up. So I'll pull this back down and then we'll get this cut. Okay, so here's my mark right here. And then I've just got to, using a pipe cutter. So all I need to do is just go in here, get my pipe cutter on there, line it up on that mark right there. And I've already cut some of this. This pipe cutter works pretty good on this, so. And I just left this thing wired up here just to help hold it in place. So just keep spinning this thing around, keep tension on it until it cuts through. I'll fast forward through this. Okay, before I take this thing and put it up on top of the greenhouse, I got these little plastic caps, and they're just to protect the ends of this. That way I don't want any of these sharp edges being able to gouge it down into the greenhouse. So I'll just put that on, and I'm going to go ahead and install both of these, because once I install these, I'll end up putting some Tech screws through these to hold them in place on the ends, and I don't think they'll push in with the Tech screws in, so that way the Tech screws will just go through them. So I'll go ahead and put that on the other side too. Okay, I'm ready to put my purlin up now. I know this is kind of a weird camera angle. It doesn't really look like the way it does there, but I wanted to get my camera up higher where you can see what I was doing. So what I did here is I just took another piece of wire, and I've got my mark right about here. So I'm gonna take this thing, I'm gonna wire it up, and this is just, again, me kind of making do with what I have, since I don't have hands to help me here. So I'm just taking this thing and going to wire it up relatively snug. And I've got the piece going up here is shorter. It's not going to reach that, because that way when I lift it up at the other end, if it's sticking out too long, it's going to hit the top of that bow. So I'll just move back, and you probably won't be able to hear me, so you can just kind of watch what I'm doing. I'm going to basically do the same thing on this 3rd bow, 1, 2, 3, the 4th bow. I'm going to wire it up there, and then I'll come in and put my purlin clamp here. Okay, so I'm back up here in my middle bow now. So I've got my middle mark from when I bent the bows right there. And then you can't see it from here, but I've got my blue mark right here. So I want to get my blue mark right on that bow. So what I want to do is I want to take these things and slide them over the bow. And I want to go where the bolts meet need to be pointing towards each other like that. Okay. So then we'll get my bolts ready. And I'm just going to lift this thing up. It's going to be easier said than done, I think, but I'm going to lift it up. Tell you what, I'm going to lift it up and get a bolt in there. Kind of hold it in place, and I'll get the second one in, and I should be able to do a little bit of adjusting to get this thing, get my blue mark lined up on the center of my pole. So there's one bolt in. I'm sorry, I know this camera angle's not good. You're probably seeing my hand more than anything. Okay, so I got both of those on there. So now I want to come in. So I just need to go down a little bit with my blue line. So I got my blue line lined up in the middle of my pole now. And then I'm going to start cinching this down. I'm just going to get it cinched down a little bit first, and then it will pull itself. So I'm lined up in the middle of my bow, in the middle of my line that I marked on the ground here. So I'll cinch that down a little bit and then let it pull this pole back up. Okay, so that's starting to cinch it in place now. Make a little bit of an adjustment. Sorry, can't talk with a wrench in my mouth. Make a little bit of an adjustment. Coming back this way to get it lined up in the center of my bow. Not too much. There we go. All right, so I'm in the middle of my bow now, and that needs to be adjusted just a little bit more. Okay, I should be able to just tighten it down now. Okay, so that's there. That thing won't rotate, it won't move. So now all I need to do is go back and do the bow down on this end, the bow down on this end, and then I got the pipe straps that I'll use to put on the very ends. Okay, so I have all my cross connectors put on, and then I went ahead and put this clamp on the other end just to make sure it was going to work okay, and it worked fine. The only issue I have is you can see this thing runs down a little bit, so I have to pull it up tight to get it in place good. So what I did with the other end is I put a clamp on it, and I couldn't find the clamp that I really wanted to use, so I was making do with this one. So hopefully I can get this one to stay on here. It worked okay on the other side. We'll see how it works here. So I just want to get it lined up pretty close. I can do some adjusting once I get the Tech screws into this clamp. That feels pretty solid right there. I want that to be lined up in the middle. So I can see if I can get one of these Tech screws in here without the clamp popping off. Okay. So that will work. It wasn't pretty, but it will work. So that's pretty good there. I just need to get my other screw in here. I think I can do that without the clamp. I think I can hold it in place. Like I said, a better clamp would have been better, but I couldn't find one, so I just made do with what I had here. Okay, so I'll hold that one in place. I don't know whether you could tell there, my battery is going dead, so I got lucky. I wasn't sure if I was going to get that all the way in there before my battery died. Okay, so what I did on the other one, now that I got that in place, I just loosen that a little bit, and then I come back over here and just slide my pole. So I got my cap flush with right there, so that's it right there. And probably don't have enough juice to tighten that back up now. So I'm gonna go grab another battery real quick, and we'll come back and we'll put the tech screw in the bottom. Okay, I got a new battery now. So I'm gonna go ahead and cinch these up. Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna do now is just I'm gonna run a tech screw through the strap into the pole. Okay, so we got our strap on, we got a tech screw into the end. So this thing is all one solid unit all the way across now. I was going to do my cross braces and my wind braces in this video, but I can already tell this thing's running pretty long. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off here, and then I will get my braces made, and then we'll come back in the next video. We'll put the two cross braces and then the wind braces on. So I'll give you a quick shot of what this thing looks like all together. Okay, I have my ridge pole up now. It worked out pretty much like I thought it was going to. It's a little bit harder, of course, because it's up high, and of course it'd be easier if you have an extra hand to help you with it, but we got it done. So the next thing I'm going to do, of course, is I'm going to make the wind braces and make the cross braces, and we'll do all those in one video. So we'll see you probably sometime next week, and we'll have that video ready to go. I appreciate you watching. Please like, please subscribe, please share my videos. Thank you.